Baby Lee here. Hope everyone's having a great day. So for this Real Talk, I'm going to be talking all about body positivity and anything related to that. So stay tuned and I hope you enjoy. So for this Real Talk, I really wanted to talk about body positivity because I was inspired by NEDA's National Eating Disorder Awareness Week, which was last week. It happened from February 24th to March 1st, and I talked about it in a little bit of one of my videos 2 weeks ago I posted. So the week not only is a remembrance and I would say a recognition or just a week to spread positive vibes for those people who have suffered from any kind of eating disorder or just are suffering from the pressure to look a certain way, be a certain way, anything like that. That's just what the whole week encompasses. But more than that, the organization encompasses everything. So they've done actually partners with Aerie. They do walks as a way to raise money. They do a bunch of other stuff for those people who are feeling not really that great about themselves. They have a bunch of resources, which I will put in this video, anything around that. But the reason why I wanted to discuss this was because of the past week, and also just because it's something that I've dealt with, and I really, each year when this week comes, I really feel a strong connection with it, and every year I want to promote this awareness as much as I can because it has affected me and affected a lot of people that I know, and it is something that nobody should be dealing with, but in today's age, it's actually way more common than you think, especially in girls, but it also happens in boys as well, especially at the younger age, which is kind of scary and something that I just feel like we should be talking about way more amongst all the other issues that we have. I think this is one that we should definitely be trying to prevent happening. So what it typically happens is, or what studies have said, is that young girls or young guys around the ages, I would say if they're young teenage life, so maybe preteens, they develop this, some of them develop this insecurity that happens, which is, normal when you are a teenager, but with the pressures of society and how social media has had the strong presence, it is a bigger issue now more than ever. So for me, that's kind of what happened when I was around 14, 15 years old. I really just saw myself and saw other people and saw how they looked and how I looked and just did not feel that great about it and did anything and everything to make sure that I did feel better. And it took to the point where I lost a lot of relationships I lost a relationship with my mom. I lost a relationship with my family. I really isolated myself. I stayed home when my family went out to dinner. I kind of became isolated from the rest of the world and only thought that the thing that mattered was what I consumed and how I felt about myself. And that in itself is I kind of gave in to what the disease wanted, it was really scary, but I didn't know. I mean, I was 15 and even younger when it started. I was like 14, and so just knowing all of that is just super scary. But I dealt with that for a while, and I went to high school. That also kind of screwed me up a little bit just because I went to a private school, and the private school, I had a good education, but the people in it sometimes weren't that great, and so I think that the pressures of like the cliche society kind of puts us on high school of, not mean girls, but just, like I said, the pressure to look a certain way kind of took over me a little bit. And so that's what really pushed me to look a certain way. And also, again, social media. This is when Instagram was starting to have like their health craze. So they had all these accounts, and I know they do now, but this is when it really started to boom, the accounts of health and fitness, and like a lot of posts on, do this diet and do that diet. And so me focusing on that really did not help me, especially as a young girl. So that was also a factor in it, and just a bunch of other stuff, underlying issues that I'm not really gonna share, but just most of it was related to the societal pressures and what happened in high school. So after all of that happened, what really pushed was, so my grandpa had leukemia. He passed away almost 2 years ago. And that, and also my sister going away to college really pushed like the disorder and pushed my, not even inspiration, but it just gave me another reason why I should do this and make my body suffer. It was kind of an underlying issue that I didn't know that I had, but I really was struggling with the acceptance of I was really struggling with the acceptance of my grandpa being sick. And so me being sick, or me not being well, and then him not being well, we were both not being well together. So that was something that him and I had a connection on, and kind of bonded with our treatments in a weird way. But when I got into treatment, that's when he started his treatment as well. So I think just accepting that was also really difficult. And then my sister moving and going to college, so she was the only person that I knew in high school and I was really only friends with. Like I said, I went to a private school. I went there after a school that I've been to my whole life, and it only went up to 8th grade, and so I had to go to a different school. And that school in itself maybe wasn't the best choice for me. I'm not sure if that was the reason why, but I just didn't make friends. And so she was my only friend, and so the fact that she went away really sucked for me. And as a teenage girl, not having friends sucked, and sucked even more, especially when the one you had went away. And so after that, I was about my junior year. It was, I want to say, the second week of school, and my parents came up to me and they were like, so this is what's going to happen. You have no choice, basically, in what we're telling you. You just have to do it. It was a Friday, I remember, and they were like, you are going to this treatment house with all these girls, and you are going to stay there until you get better. That was it. I had no choice. I was 16, when you couldn't make a decision, I literally had no choice. So I had to pack up. I was so upset. I had to pack up. Went, and it was the worst and best experience of my life. It was really difficult. It was really traumatizing. I mean, to put it into perspective, like, this was a real issue. It wasn't like I just didn't love myself and like felt really bad about myself and like that's it. Like, no, I lost a lot of weight. I was the lowest I was a little under 80 pounds, which for me is really, really thin, especially I'm only 5 feet, so that's like not good at all. And so but the reason why I bring this up is because it's something that once I was there, it was like I wasn't the only one who had this issue. It was other girls too, and a lot of people I've connected with over the years. I'm 22 now, so that it's been a few years, and so that it made me grow as a person. In a weird way, the traumatic experiences that you have make you grow into somebody that you've never thought you would be. So that's what happened for me. And then I was there for about, I want to say 2.5 months, which was in itself a learning experience and crazy because I wasn't at school for 2 months. So it's like, where did she go, kind of thing. But I came back. My last day of treatment was on my birthday, so I turned 17. And then I went back to school, I think 2 weeks later, because it was my junior year. I mean, like, that's the time you need to focus on for college and all that kind of stuff. But actually, that was really the turning point, and I was like, okay, no, I want to do something with fashion. I always love fashion, but that specific moment in my life made me realize, yeah, like, I really want to do this, because not only is it about the media portraying people a certain way, but it's also like a stigma, and so I really wanted to change that. And ever since I left, I wanted to promote this positive vibe in just loving yourself and, you know, not doing Photoshop and not doing this and not doing that, and just being yourself, because that's the only thing that matters, and being anybody else is just not the way to go. But getting back to the point, so I got out, and then I really wanted to spread this awareness, so I raised $10,000. I walked. They have these, like you can do for breast cancer or anything like that. They had a walk, and I did that, and then ever since then, I just been a huge supporter of it. Thank God I've never relapsed, but it is definitely something that, if anybody has suffered from it, it is something that you will always deal with, but you just hope that you won't relapse. Again, it's made me a stronger person, and so anything and everything that I can do to make sure that nobody goes through that same experience as I did is something that I really want to do, just because I didn't know anybody when I was in it that dealt with it, and I think that would have been helpful. But so if you know anybody, or if you yourself are in that position, I'm somebody you can use as a resource. You can message me on Instagram. You can email me through my Instagram. I don't leave any message unread. I always respond, so please use that. But I will give more information at the end of this video, throughout the video, all about Netta and their what they do and their awareness and all that kind of stuff. But that was basically what I wanted to talk about, just my story, share what I went through, and how we as humans can make the world a better place, especially for people who just don't feel that great about themselves. It's one of the things I hate about social media is the way it can make you feel, and I think people thinking about that and taking that with like a grain of salt and thinking that they shouldn't take it too seriously is something I think needs to be changed. Because, could you imagine if everything went down and all the apps and all that kind of stuff weren't around for like a week? Like, I wonder what would happen. That was the other thing. When I was in treatment, I didn't have my phone. It was the weirdest but best thing ever. I didn't have my phone. We weren't allowed to do anything like that. And it was weird because as soon as I turned on my phone, it was like I missed everything. But didn't really miss much. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a little bit weird, but thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. So.